What's up, SNEEPles? Back again with more Bright Lights draft tips, and today we're going to be going over Datebase, the 18 life Mechanologist hero that has 4 intelligence and lets us look at the top card of our deck at any time during the game. On top of that, you can play an item that costs 0 or 1 as a once per turn instant from the top of your deck if you pay 1 extra. That's pretty fun because that means we can play on our opponent's turn as well as our turn to play cards from the top, and that allows for some tricky gameplay, so let's get into her. But first, do you like this shirt? Well, you can get them at fleshandbaubles.com. You can even use our promo code SNEEP for 15% off your entire order. They got shirts, they got keychains, and they got more to come. So check them out, fleshandbaubles.com. Let's get back to the video. Items is the name of the game when drafting Dash, and you're gonna wanna draft quite a bit. I'm thinking anywhere between 10 to 13 items. It's gonna be the real sweet range because if you have any less, you're gonna be a Dash deck that doesn't work all the time, and at that point, you're just a Mechanologist hero of 18 health. However, if you draft more than that, then you're looking at multiple hands that have 2 or more items in them, and that hand doesn't block or attack very well at all. So you want to try to hit that sweet spot in order to have the best experience while playing Dash. Now let's talk about how to draft her. In the first 5 rounds, you're not going to be drafting for Dash. Instead, you're going to just be picking the best cards because at that point you are going to be open. Everything's Mechanologist. You don't have to pick your hero in the first 5 picks. Allow cards to come to you to decide what heroes open. By pick 5, 6, 7, 8, or even 9, you can start getting past cards to make you realize, okay, this hero is open. So let's talk about what cards, if it gets past us around those picks, if we see them, what cards mean we play Dash. And first off is the Majestic. Prismatic Lens and Quantum Processor are so damn good that if they get past to you, you are almost 100% going to be Dash. Those cards work so very well with Dash's game plan on playing items out at instant speed. The next cards that you'll want to look for are Boom Grenades. Boom Grenades are so good, especially the red and yellows. And you're gonna wanna try to draft these sooner than later because Max also likes drafting these cards. Max, in fact, likes to draft a lot of the items that you're gonna be going after. So make sure that you're putting a heavy emphasis on items in the early rounds of draft and then picking your attacks in the later rounds. Boom Grenade's a very good one, as well as the scripts. I'm talking all 6 scripts. Very good for Dash. They are at least doing something to add to your attacking game plan, and that is how we're going to be dealing some damage. So I do like the scripts with Dash. And then let's talk about a few other items that maybe aren't going to be your first items that you pick to signal you to be Dash, but they are items that you still want to draft. Red and maybe yellow mini force fields, as well as the red dissolving shields. These are your more protective items. These are good items to get you going, as well as a backup protocol red. That one is exchanging a blue card for a red card, and that's good just to get damage through, especially if you didn't draw a very good attack in that hand. So those are really all the items that you can see. Some of those, like Boom Grenade, the Majestics, and even the scripts can help you go into Dash, but some of the other ones are ones that you want to draft later on after you decided your Dash. Let's get into the non-item cards we want to draft as Dash. And these are cards that have scrap. Hydraulic Press is a bomb because Overpower is such a good ability in this draft. So make sure you draft those in any color as soon as possible, as well as cards like Scrap Harvester. Scrap Harvester is so good with Dash. Being able to scrap an item from your graveyard, which you'll probably have some, to then put a steam counter on another item that you have out is exactly where we want to be. We want to try to keep out our items as much as possible in order to gain the most from them. And Scrap Harvesters is not only a big attack, but works for that game plan. You also have the Galvanize ability, and there's a lot of good Galvanize cards out there. Infused Titanium is just a big hitter card, as well as Infused Alloy being a cheap 0 for 4 that can always block for 4 if need be, as long as you're having an item out. The other cards we're really looking at is Soup Up. Soup Up has Go Again, and that's a great thing, especially when we don't have to boost. We don't really want to boost too often. Instead, we just want to try to just get big attacks in And Torque Tune is another way to do that as well. And of course, it has that overpower mechanic, so we like that a lot. So these are all the attack cards that we are looking to do with, as well as 2 more. But these cards do boost, where the other ones did not, and that is Expedite and Met X. These cards look to play out an item from our hand, which we can then crank if need be to get another action point. So you can choose whether to boost this if you don't have another attack coming in and you just want to shoot your gun if you don't have an item put out, or if you do have an item put out and you want to crank that item, you don't even have to boost this card as well. So Met X and Expedite are also attacks that you can use in order to get damage through while working to your game plan. Alright, that's everything you want to look for when drafting Dash. So let's break it up into the order of it. Draft your good items first. These are your boom grenades, these are some of your script ones, particularly the rares, and of course your Majestic goes above those, right? Prismatic lens and whatnot. Those you want to draft first. Next, look for good red attacks. The overpower mechanic is so strong, you definitely want to hold that high. But you have other cards like Soup Up, Infused Alloy, Infused Titanium, and then Scrap Harvester. These are so good. And then finally, you have your boost cards with your Expedite and Med-X. Grab them as well. They're just good value cards. Make sure when you're drafting, you're also kind of keeping a little bit of count on your blue. Dash can go in pretty heavy and hard when you come in with like Scrap Harvesters and Infused Titaniums, and even Junkyard Dog. These are 3 for 6s, so you want to make sure you have a good amount of blues to be able to do that, as well as playing out an item. So just keep that in mind. Finally, one last suggestion, something I did forget to mention, is that there is 4 blue items out there that recycle into your deck. These are the Fuel Injector, the Med Kit, the Steam Canister, and Stasis Cell. These cards work very well, especially in the late game, because it allows you to put out an item every turn, shoot your pistol, and then use the ability to recycle it back into your deck. Now, I did not mention this early on because Dash is really the only hero that really looks to use these items. And so what I found out with the drafts I've been doing is that they tend to cycle around the second cycle. So look for them in the second cycle, which does work, as I mentioned before, for those blue pitch counts. That is all that you need to know to draft Dash. Keep those in mind, and because Dash is such a fun deck, I hope it works out for you. We have Max Nitro up next, and then a whole draft recap of the whole thing, just like we did last time. So until then, get to drafting, keep on packing.